Alrighty, friends, we're back. Your favorite podcast of the week. It's Location Weekly. It's episode number 640, and we are recording on October the 2nd. Yes, it is now October. It is fall. It is a heck of a warm place here in Toronto, though. I'll tell you that. Like, we are hitting 30 something on the Celsius scale this week. So I don't know what you want to call that, but we still have summer.
Yeah,
How's it
it's
going for you?
warm here today as well. I was in the South this weekend doing like a ladies retreat and good like times of renewal and just like working on yourself, things that we should all be doing, all that good stuff and beautiful beach weather.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flooding here. Like New York got so flooded this weekend. My basement got flooded again and so did a lot of people around us. So I think the warm, hot weather is very welcomed as long as it's dry. We just don't want to see another raindrop for a while. Seems like
Yeah.
it was quite traumatic. But
Clear
yeah.
that all out before I get there tomorrow, Brianna. I don't want to.
Well, it looks like the sun is here, is ready to welcome you. So hopefully it'll stay like that for you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, hopefully, and obviously now we are officially in October baseball now. So my Blue Jays made the wild card. That's good.
Yes, it is.
If your Braves are going to go far, we'll see.
I think so. I feel good
Yeah,
about
but
it.
too bad for Mr. Woodbridge's Yankees, though. Mm,
Eh.
well, yeah. We'll have to get him on the show soon. Uh, that'll be good. Anyhow, all right. Well, we have a good show for you. Four stories as usual, and we'll let Aubriana kick it off.
All right. Well, this story comes from e-commerce shopping platform Shopify. If you're familiar with Shopify audiences, they've now integrated with some more ad platforms. So if you were aware, they were already had an existing lineup of partners, including Meta, Google, and Pinterest, but now they are expanding that and helping retailers deliver targeted ads to these new integrations, which include Snap, TikTok, and Criteo. So this is going to expand the reach that they have with their Shopify Plus merchants. And then they'll be able to target customers more effectively and they can use whatever preferred advertising network they have. So they also have introduced a benchmarking functionality. So merchants can compare the performance of their ad campaigns to other similar small businesses, which is really cool, and work to optimize their ad performance. One other feature that they touted that I thought was pretty interesting is that they're reducing customer acquisition costs for their clients by up to 50%. They're touting that they have these algorithms that are analyzing data and optimizing their ad campaigns. I think this is like an industry trend, honestly, the ad optimization and working to lower CPAs or cost per acquisition or cost per conversion or cost per purchase. Really, like a lot of these advertisers and marketers are just looking to see that ROAS go up right now. And that's a trend that we're seeing. We're also seeing advertisers spend less right now and kind of being a little bit stingy with their budgets in Q4. So I think that one for Shopify specifically and their audience platforms, like being able to utilize those audience across more platforms is going to help, I think, drive revenue up at least, or give them more opportunities to secure revenue from those advertising budgets right now that are a little bit tight. But also just like long term, I think this is a great feature. I also really like the benchmarking capability. I think being able to compare and contrast perhaps how your specific or niche small business is performing as it compares to maybe others in terms of like acquisition costs or just like your media spend and your return on that investment, I think is really important. So I like this story. I'm glad to see that, I remember years ago being at trade shows and Shopify was kind of like the new thing. And, I wasn't always sure how they would, I don't know, continue to invest, continue to like improve their platform, and they really have added a lot of I think really valuable tool sets for their merchants. So whether that's a bigger business or a smaller merchant, I think that these are all really solid tools that they can utilize.
Yeah, I like this. I think that a number of the merchant members of, within our community at the LBMA, are starting to shift over to using Shopify tools from what we understand. So they're definitely kind of growing from that point of view. I think the audience piece is part of, a bigger trend that we've been talking about here. Obviously, even, we have our own audiences at ground level, and there's a movement towards this sort of, targeting these cohorts instead of individuals, which we've talked about a lot. I think, the challenge here, as with any of these things, is are merchants willing to kind of put their data alongside potentially competitors' data? That's always been the hesitation. And yet I think that if you can tie it together, and as they've done here with the sort of activation components of this on the other side, be it Snap or TikTok or Criteo or whoever, then I think that it becomes, a powerful way to engage. And then I also like that they have their Shopify Plus piece here, which is like your actual ad spend. You can put on a Shopify credit card and earn cash back. So, especially if you're a small business, I think that is very attractive potentially, especially where the cost of everything is and how, tight, we're managing cash flow these days. Being able to, advertise on these kinds of platforms and essentially have some kind of, credit available to you, I think is a good thing. And they've kind of bundled that all together. So I like the story. I think it's a powerful set of tools all coming together. All right, on to our second story then. So Forever 21, Brianna, you're still 21, right?
Yes, with just a few years experience.
Yeah, exactly. So, so as retailers are gearing up for, Black Friday and all the holiday sales and all those things that are coming, they've said that they plan to spend a significant amount of budget this year on using SMS as a platform for delivering personalized messages. And so texting, not necessarily texting discount codes, but, reaching out to people in a sort of more one-to-one or personalized way than just here's a blanket, offer to everybody within our, SMS database. So one of the stats in here is a company called SimpleText found that 74% of shoppers are signed up for texts from a business like this, which that seems like really high to me. But hey, if you can get 74% of your customers signing up to your SMS, feature, that's a good thing. And I think, so their plan right now is to use this to send out personalized recommendations, stock updates, early deals for loyal customers, these kinds of things. Shoppers, they say, will also get early access to Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals via text. So maybe there's a bit of a leg up, and that's another incentive to sign up for this if you haven't already, to kind of get in early, kind of beat the line, if you will. And then one of the things that they're really conscious about in this is the frequency of messages. So they said based on their customer data platform, shoppers will receive different frequencies of messages based on their level of engagement with the brand. So for some, might be one text a week. For some, that might be twice a day. So I think that's really interesting. And the other piece I wanted to share is there's a company called Attentive, which is the platform that powers this kind of SMS messaging. And so they say 94% of their customers are planning to send out Black Friday and Cyber Monday messaging, with the peak period hitting the Friday before Thanksgiving. So lots of good stuff going on here. Our good friend Ron Carricker would be smiling right now if we were talking about SMS, and obviously that's a space that he plays in. So I like this. I like that SMS. I mean, we all use it every day. You and I were just using it before we jumped on here. And I think it's if it can be tuned and used in the right way, it can be a powerful marketing tool for these brands.
Yeah, I think that it is a powerful marketing tool. I find like there's a product flow, if you will, that tends to happen for a lot of retailers that I've noticed being a trend. So it's like social media, Instagram specifically, and I wouldn't know about Facebook, but I'm assuming it's likely the same. But you get served something, you shop now, and then you're given an additional discount or incentive to enter your email, which then they ask you to put in your mobile number. And so then you get wrapped into that text message, a program. And then a lot of times, they're sending you updates. Many of the times I ignore them, but a lot of times, I'm sure that there's people who are either checking them or clicking on the link. And I would say, occasionally, maybe 10% of the time, I'm checking out what the offer is. So I think that they are getting renewed, interest and engagement when it comes to SMS, and it's just quick and easy for people. Whereas my email is like, the pit of death, that I don't even know what's in there right now because there's probably 77,000 unread emails, most of which are probably promotional items. So I just feel like I think that the SMS it's an easier way to engage. It's easier to opt out, and it's easier probably just to kind of get very quick snippets of what's happening with those offers. So I think that it's old, but you know what? It works. So why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they say in the South. So
Yeah, here you go.
yeah. Well, let's go over to a mapping story now with Radar. And Radar is, if you're not familiar, a location services platform. It was founded in 2016 by two former Foursquare guys. And they announced now a wide release of their new Radar Maps platform. So this includes vector-based maps, full suite of enterprise-ready geocoding, search, routing APIs. And they're taking this and combining it with their existing geo platform so they can offer this full stack location platform to support, they're saying georeferencing. I'm assuming that's geofencing, or maybe there's georeferencing as well, along with the mapping. So really, they have built up a pretty, robust list of customers that they work with, like Dick's Sporting Goods, T-Mobile, Zillow, Panera, and a lot of others that I saw on their website. And so, I think they're just trying to add mapping features into the existing, maybe geofencing features and georeferencing features that they had previously. So the way that they're going about it, though, is also interesting because they're really they're playing a price game. I think that you can either be the best, you could be the fastest, kind of first to market, or you could be the least expensive. And so they're saying, basically Google Maps has gotten more and more expensive, and that price point continues to go up. Mapbox is kind of middle of the line, and they're kind of their play is not only this full suite, but also this lower price point that they're offering. So I want to pay attention to and see kind of how that grows and expands. But I think for brick and mortar locations, we know that mapping is super important. It's important to be accurate. It's important to be able to map there, but also be able to find the closest store and to be able to do it really quickly and accurately. So, I think that there's definitely going to be a market for these guys to go after and continue to go after. And I think that, you choose sort of your path, and maybe there's not a wrong path, but, I think that they'll find their niche with this approach.
Yeah, I think from a Radar perspective, I think this is a great move. I think they have a phenomenal suite of existing multi-location customers, the restaurant brands, retailer brands that you mentioned already. And so I think when you have that and you're getting to a point where maybe there's a bit of market saturation, there are other competitors out there in that SDK space powering these features. We can talk about Glimpse, we can talk about Blue Dot, we can talk about others that are out there. And so when you're in that kind of a market, and you have great customers, you need to find other things to sell them, right? And other ways to provide additional value to them. And I think putting this maps offering out there, integrating it all together into the full stack, I think if I'm sitting there and I'm Panera and I'm using Google Maps and I'm also using Radar for, the, location, ordering and these kinds of pieces of the platform, why wouldn't I want to save money? Why wouldn't I want to kind of tie it all together, right? So I think there's an opportunity to steal some customers, and I think there's an opportunity to grow their existing customers into, even more revenue. And so I like it from that point of view. I don't know that, as you say, this is a price game that they're playing. It's not like all of a sudden we have better technology or better features or, whatnot. But the combination of the stack, I think, is really interesting. And I can definitely see how this would play. And I think if you're a small business that requires mapping capabilities as part of what you do, then you are interested in playing the price game, right? You're not necessarily ready to go out and pay Google, the rates that they want, or even, with Mapbox. So we'll see where that goes. And then, how does this fit with the OpenStreetMaps initiative? That's something, I would love to learn more about. Are they planning to kind of participate in that as well, or not? But, I've always thought like Radar's got a great technology platform. And I think adding this, just enhances that stack.
There you go.
All right. Okay, final story now. There's a company out there called Atly, Atly, and they're described as a user-generated social mapping platform that is about location-based knowledge sharing. And so they've introduced this new tool called Ask Around. So essentially what it does, it allows influencers to seamlessly gather recommendations for places and experiences from their followers on the map. So if you're a big social media influencer, you basically have this map, and people who follow you can then make recommendations to you that are location based on that map. So it's a great way to sort of build these sort of topic based maps, as they're described. So one of the examples that they gave was there's this influencer named Lauren Morawski, I think is how you say that. She's an Instagram creator, sorry, who's created a map on the platform called Gluten Free Eats. And so you can go to @eat.glutenfreewithme. And essentially she's been able to curate this sort of map of all kind of the best recommended places, for gluten-free food and options, coming through these local recommendations. So that's the kind of thing that is possible on this platform. It's very interesting to me. I can remember back in the early days of the LBMA, when we were starting, probably around a year in or so, like maybe around 2010, somewhere in that time frame. There was a startup out of Montreal actually called Local Mind, and it was kind of going after the same kind of thing, like asking the crowd in an area like what was going on in that space right now. So for example, if you wanted to know if, the bar that you wanted to go to tonight, if it was like busy and happening and, had a good mix of people there and whatnot, you could just ask and get feedback right away on this platform before you decided to hop in the car and go there. So, in some ways, this is more of a kind of persistent thing in that there's a map and it's building over time. But I think there's opportunities here to have both sort of a temporal kind of ask what's going on as well as a persistent one. I like this. I think it's interesting. And I think if you can build these kind of topic-based, maps, and you can have influencers who are driving them, then I can see this becoming something where it just helps that influencer grow their following further because they're engaging their followers in participating in it. And so I like how that works. And I think there's some power in kind of what they built here.
Yeah, I really love this. Like it resonates with me a lot. I have been eating gluten-free for a while now, and it's always really hard to navigate the restaurant list, like in Google Maps or even in Yelp, to find something that's actually really good offering. And so I feel like in New York City, like there's so much good food, but kind of sorting and filtering through it can be a challenge. So I think this is like needed because beyond just dietary, refinement, but where to find specific things or, areas of interest, I think could be it's so hard to kind of uncover really specific genres of things, right? Mm-hmm. So I really like this idea. I think that it's great for the influencers to kind of have another avenue to generate more engagement with their fans beyond just posting content. And that this is something that I think will be utilized a lot off this platform. So I'm excited about this
There
one.
you go. And now you got another person you got to follow on Instagram.
I do. It's already done,
So there you go. That's our show, everybody, for this week. You've been listening and watching episode number 640 of Location Weekly. Of course, we thank you for your time. I want to remind everybody that we have our LBMA Retail Loco Conference coming up November 1st and 2nd in Atlanta. A lot of great speakers are going to be there. There's people from Kroger and IGA and Samsung and some pretty good sponsors out there too in Placer.ai and Ground Truth and Simon Malls and Nobu. Like, it goes on and on. So get your ticket. If you don't have a ticket yet, just go to thelbma.org, click on events, and you'll see Retail Loco there, and you can sign up there, and or you can reach out to Aubriana or I, and we can help you out as well. But yeah, we'd love to see you down there November 1st and 2nd in Atlanta. And of course, we'll be back next week with another show. But until then, have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.